Hi guys, this is Shivadi. In this session, I am going to explain Angular template-driven forms. In Angular, there are two main approaches of forms that you can use to handle user input and validation. First one is the template-driven form. Second one is the reactive form. In this session, I am going to cover template-driven. In the next session, I am going to cover the reactive forms. Coming to the template-driven forms, these are depend on directives and two-way data binding directly within the HTML. So template-driven forms are mainly suitable for the simple forms where we don't have any complex logics or the validations there. So below are the key features of the template-driven forms. So template-driven forms uses the directives such as ng model, ng form, ng submit in the template to create and control the form elements. And template driven forms uses the two-way data binding using the ng model to bind form controls to the component properties for the data synchronization. And template driven forms result into the less code because most of the validations we are going to implement in the HTML template. So that result into the less code in the TypeScript class file. Let's go ahead and see this concept with an example. So template driven form component.html. Here if you see, this is the form. Inside the form we define the two fields, one for the user, one for the name, which is the input type text. Second one is the input type email, and we have the one submit button. Here we are using the few directives like ng model, ng submit, ng form, and also here we are putting the validations like ng model required, ng model required email. So the validations are happening in the HTML template itself in the case of template driven forms. Now if you go and look at the component class, it is very simple. In this component class we have onSubmit method which takes the form data as an input, and then we are going to print this particular form data to the console. At the same time we are alert the user with whatever the username and email what user enters, that details will show in the alert. So it looks very simple form. Now let's go ahead and run this particular program and see what will be the output. So name, it's a mandatory, that's the reason if you see submit button is disabled. Once I fill the mandatory parameter and then I entered some valid email, then it would enable the submit button. Now once I click on the submit button, you see here user enter details, username is test, email is test@gmail.com. Once I click OK, we already printed this info to the console. So if you see here, email is test@gmail.com, name is the test. So template driven forms are very simple to implement because most of the logic or validation we are providing in the HTML template itself, and the validations are going to happen through the directives like ng submit, ng model. And also if you see here, it is a disabled because if the form is not valid, then submit button is getting disabled. This is how we can implement the template driven forms in Angular. Hope this concept is clear. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.